Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of our podcast, Feenix Films Presents DIY Filmmaking. I'm Nick, and again with us we have Dave and Kate, and Janine cannot be here tonight, but she will be in future episodes. Today's topic is what to look for and stay away from when scouting a location. So you have everything you need, you are ready to shoot, you have your actors, your screenplay, all of the crew, etc., etc. Hopefully a little bit of cash, although we've never had much, so we understand that very well. And now you're looking for places to shoot. So that's what we're here to help you with tonight. Dave, since you were the most recent and most frequent director here at Feenix, you want to kick this off?
Sure. I guess, if you have a budget, you can pretty much get most locations that you would want. What it becomes very difficult, as Nick said, is that when you don't have money, how do you get someone to allow you to film in their place of business or their home, for free? So that's always very, very that's challenging. And what we've looked for is people who were very professional business people, but also nice, kind of following along with the approach that we've used, where we only really want to work with people that we get along with. And we've stayed away from people who seemed agitated by the thought of us. So if I walked into a place and the place seemed really cool, and then I asked to speak to the owner, and the owner came out, and I said, I have an independent film company. We don't have a lot of money, but I love the look of this place. Would you let us film here? And the person was very positive, and they kind of were like, oh yeah, you have an independent film company? Usually those people just kind of love the idea, or they were interested in creative stuff, or they had taken film classes or something. When you ran into people who kind of like looked at you and what you said it was, they just stare at you. You almost could just walk out the door at that point, because they are either going to make filming for you very uncomfortable, or they are just not. It's just not going to be a positive experience for you. So. That's we can expand more on it, but I think just for now, that's kind of, I'd love Nick and Kate to jump in as far as any of their thoughts on it too.
Well, I think like you said, Dave, is try to work with people that you get along with, but I also think too is make sure that you present yourself as professionally as possible, which we always do, because this is our business. One of the things that you might want to consider is looking up paperwork to present to them that you sign and then they countersign, essentially saying we, of course, will put everything back to the way it was to before when we were shooting, but any damage that is incurred, we will not be held responsible because it wasn't our fault, most likely. So it's important to make sure that you protect yourself and your liability, and that you show them that you are also saying, look, we're going to do everything we can to make this as simple for you as possible. And then I would also suggest offering to toot the horn of the business. We put everything on our FeenixFilms.com website. Feel free to visit. And, that's one of the ways that we show them that we support their business, and we really appreciate them, and we put them in the movie, in the credits, and that kind of stuff means a lot too, because anyone running a business who's helping out an indie film company would appreciate that, just like we appreciate them giving up their time and their space. So I would say look up paperwork to make sure liabilities are in order, and make sure you're professional, and also offer to somehow, help them or toot the horn of their business.
Yeah, and just to make a note, we are going to do a future episode on paperwork in general, so if anybody out there has any questions, I think it's a great point that Kate brought up, and a really important topic. I think it deserves its own podcast. So we'll be doing that a little bit later on. But yeah, that does go towards just being very professional, and like Kate said, remembering that you have something to offer too, uh, and to piggyback on even what Dave said, by finding people that you want to work with, don't be discouraged. Don't be afraid to go to 20 different places if you have to find the people and the place that's right for you. You have an idea if you want to be a bar or an office. There are a ton out there no matter where you live, especially if you have a car or some other mode of transportation. You can go out there and find someone who's willing to collaborate with you. And if you do have this sort of professional kind of leave it how you found it approach, and you're going to take care of everything for them, they have nothing to worry about, you'll be very happy with all of it in the end. And the kind of just side point is, when you're getting started on whatever screenplay it is, or thinking about how you want to shoot it, try to limit it as much as you possibly can. I mean, you want to get as much out of the product, the production and the screenplay as possible. But if you're choosing one that requires you to simulate being, landing on the moon or what have you, you're probably going to want to stay away from that for starters. So look for things where you're fairly confident you can find some, all the places that are in there, or that you can somehow work it so that you have enough of what you need to make the production as good as it can.
That's actually a really good point, Nick, and just to say really quick, don't be scared too. In the case of indie films, a lot of times hopefully one of the things we like about them is that they're a little more intimate. Sometimes they have a smaller cast, or they have frequent places. In that case, you might need to just sort of change a location. Don't be afraid to do that. I mean, sometimes that's just required, And also count on family and friends. I can't thank our families, the McGraths, the Rosas, the DiMattios, the Lanos, who have offered their homes for 9 to 6 on a random Saturday. If they're supportive, they'll maybe give you a day there, and then there you go. You have 5 scenes you can shoot. So count on them too.
Yeah, no, I really, that's been a huge part of the stuff that we've, the locations that we've gotten is, it's, in some cases, it's even been work-related places that supported what we were doing and liked the, liked the idea of working with us. And, something else that we've always done is, we tell the people, we really respect your space, and then we're also going to give you a copy of the film, and as Kate mentioned, we put them up on, and they have end credits. They're in the end credits. We put them up on the website. These are all ways of kind of saying, look, we really do appreciate what you did for us, and because without you, we wouldn't have been able to film that scene there. And the paperwork thing, which is a good point that Nick brought up. One of the locations, it was a local comic book store here in New Jersey, and it was for the first project we did, and the owner told me that the thing that made her say absolutely was the fact that we walked in, besides all the stuff that we were going to promise them or give them or whatever, was the fact that we had actual legal paperwork that said, if we break something of yours, we will fix it. However, we won't fix something of yours that you already broke. And the fact that we were very clear and things were very well laid out. She said, she's like, I was so impressed by that, because you guys weren't just kind of coming in with your heads in the clouds saying hey, we want to make a movie. She said it showed that there was a very serious business side to what we were doing, and that put her at ease and made her feel comfortable.
Yeah, and I think to remind everybody, we have done five productions and full films and 3 shorts, and we've done a ton of locations. We're here based in the New York, New Jersey area. We've done a lot of outdoor shooting, city shooting. There are things you can do there if you know where to go, what to look for. It's kind of guerrilla filmmaking, but everyone does it, to be honest, and you just kind of need to know the ins and outs of that. And the reason I say that is because, yeah, you can buy a permit, you can do that, and we know people with, companies with budgets do that, and that is absolutely fine, and if you can do it, it's recommended. But what we're talking about here today, all those productions we've done, we've spent almost zero on all of the locations that we shot at. So we're telling you, as getting started DIY, you can find almost any location you need within reason for free. And I think in future podcasts or two, I think it might be helpful for us to actually go over production by production, how we put together the film, what kind of went into it, why was this production different from another, and in doing that, that will also kind of show you in a very specific way what went into considering doing that production to begin with and ultimately finding the locations that we need to shoot at.
Yeah.
Anything else we wanted to add?
No, I think that's it from me.
Yeah, that's it for me.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks again for joining us. This is Feenix Films Presents DIY Filmmaking. Please don't hesitate to follow any of the links that we have here on the video or below. Put in your comments, questions, etc., and visit us at feenixfilms.com. And on behalf of Dave, Kate, and Janine, who we promise will be with us soon, I'm Nick, and thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.